Hello, my name's Julia and welcome to my channel. I'm starting this channel because I want to document my process of becoming a gelato master, or hopefully one day. And I thought it would be fun to journal my progress on here and grow and learn how to make gelato masterpieces. Um, yeah. So, a little bit more about me. I am a student living and studying in Germany right now, but originally from the US. But my real dream would be to have a creative gelato business of my own someday in the future. And so that's how I originally started looking into gelato schools in Italy. But turns out it's quite expensive. Like for a 4 weeks of classes, it's over 3,000 in general estimate based off what I've seen, and that doesn't even include housing sometimes. And then even if you want to do like a 1 week class or like a 5 day course, that ranges from like 1,000 to 2,000 plus. So I was like, damn, I'm just gonna invest in my own machine and try to do this thing in a more economic way because currently in my life that's not a financial decision that would make sense. But that's how I got to purchasing my own machine. And I should say that I love sugar. I love sugar, I love sweet things, and I mean, of course I do, because otherwise I guess I wouldn't be here. But I love sugar and gelato specifically because I grew up with two Sicilian grandparents, and so growing up with my grandparents in the Sicilian Italian side of the family, we would get together on Sundays to share really big meals together and cook together, and my nonna would make the most amazing food. And I grew up with this notion and with the idea that cooking is a way to show and give your love to those you care about. And so, looking towards the future, the idea of having my own gelato business one day is appealing because I would love to be able to create sweet creations and get to put smiles on people's faces when they try and receive my creations. So, I realize I did not answer the question of why gelato specifically, but overall, I just personally really like gelato. And also, I think that in the US, we could use more gelato businesses and parlors because people go to Europe and especially countries like Italy and they're like, wow, I had gelato every day, it was so good. But then you go back to the States and there's definitely not as many gelato businesses as there is traditional American ice cream, which don't get me wrong, I love. Like Jenny's ice cream. Oh my gosh, have you ever tried Jenny's? It's so good. Probably my favorite American ice cream. But back to gelato. Gelato also, it has lower fat content than traditional American ice cream. And traditional American ice cream, that fat content the fat coats your tongue. And so the flavor is more muted than when you taste a gelato because of that. And so I think the flavors are more vivid in gelato specifically as well. Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Today we are going to make stracciatella gelato, which is like a cream gelato base with irregular sized shavings of chocolate in it. And I want to say that I purchased this machine back in July 2025. So I've made about 5 batches of gelato with it, but I'm still very new and I'm still working on the same recipe because I've been experimenting with different types of stabilizers in order to give the gelato texture. Because the gelato, a lot of shops and companies, they use different types of stablers, different types of gums, for example, to get it to have a certain form. And I specifically have this one, which I bought off of Amazon after doing some research. And I finally have a micro scale, so I'll be able to correctly weigh the amount that I need because what has happened in my past recipes is I either put too much in or too little in, and so the texture was either overly gummy as like insert here's a video here of the last batch I made a couple days ago, or it like froze, like it was too crystallized, frozen that it wasn't even gelato texture at all. So I'm hoping today to finally get the texture right and be able to move on to creating a new recipe. Okay, so you can probably tell that it's later in the day now, but I had to go out and buy a new glass container for the gelato because the last glass container that I had bought from a cheaper store exploded Like, I put hot food in it and it just straight up exploded with the hot food in it. Here's a photo. So I had to go to the store to get a new one, and this time I like actually got a good one. But anyway, it's besides the point. So the recipe that we're gonna follow today is from a website called Recipes from Italy, and it's by someone named Silvana Nava. But we're not gonna follow it 100%. Just like the main ingredients, which are listed here now, or there. I'm still like learning how to edit. Like this video is the first video I've really edited, so that's also been taking some time. But we're gonna do that. Okay, so the first thing I measured was the heavy cream, but I ended up not having 200, so I had to adjust the recipe to go with the amount of cream that I had. And here I am measuring the milk and then the sugar. And you can also see I don't have the most normal measuring containers, but you gotta work with what you have, so this is the current setup. So here we have all the ingredients but the chocolate, which we use later, and the stabilizer, which I have to add. So I got this tiny micro scale, but then I had to steal the batteries from the big scale because I didn't get any AAAs, but luckily I had the batteries in the scale at least. Also later my friend pointed out that I didn't use a tiny bowl or anything to measure on the mini scale, but mistakes already made, so going forward I'll have to get like a small bowl or something. Um, Also, I think it looks kind of funny measuring powder, with the tiny scale. But anyway, it's accurate, so it's doing the job, and that's what matters. So now we have everything that we need for the base because the chocolate comes later, and I have to combine the stabilizer with the sugar before we put it in with the base with the rest of the ingredients because it has to mix with the sugar so that it's not in clumps when we cook it. And by cook the base, I just mean that we're heating all these ingredients together in the pan so that the sugar dissolves, and then later we will be able to put it into the machine. So the instruction is to stir this over medium heat for about 5 minutes until all the sugar is dissolved, which is what we're doing here. And here you can still kind of see the sugar, but I don't think what I recorded makes it super clear. But here at the end, this is the almost final product. It's very clear, the sugar's dissolved, it's very thin, and we're gonna take it out. So now that we've heated the base, I'm going to put it in the fridge for about 4.5 hours. You can even keep it in there overnight, but you just want the base to be cool enough to put into the ice cream machine, or the gelato machine in my case. Okay, so we're gonna pour it in. It takes around like 20 to 35 minutes, really depending, and also because I've been kind of experimenting with how long it takes based on the texture. And it's just my own thoughts and from what I've been reading, so we'll see. So you can see that I spilled a little bit, but that's okay. And now I'm gonna start the timer and then move on to the chocolate. So we are 15 minutes in, and you can see it's starting to stick to the handle a little bit, but still pretty liquidy. So now we're gonna melt the chocolate, and I found it kind of satisfying to watch it melt, so I'll just leave that footage here. So it's around the 20-minute mark, and I'm just gonna put it in now because honestly, I haven't done it with melted chocolate before, and I'm a little concerned that the chocolate will harden, and also that it'll be too late. So I'm gonna try it now. It's a learning process, guys. Okay, it's somewhat poured in, and it looks kind of cool, and I made yet another mess, but I'm gonna keep pouring now. Ooh. Okay, so the mess is even worse now. But if you look at the gelato, it's starting to look. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but it's really starting to form together, and it's gonna be ready soon. Okay, so I stopped it because I got slightly worried that maybe I went too far. Oh, look at that. Obviously I'm still very new to this, and that's kind of the point of this challenge. Like, this is first attempt with hopefully accurate measurements. And you're probably like, what have you been doing before? But anyway, I guess let's take it out. It looks maybe a little bit too crystallized. Honestly, I'm just not sure what a really good texture is, but it looks good. It looks yummy. So, I mean, it looks nice. Definitely. Wow. You know, something I could get is a thermometer. I should get that, especially, like, I should for the next batch, because then I can actually measure, well, yeah, then I can measure the temperature and maybe it'll be more accurate. But, I mean, it looks good coming out, and I've never done it with the melted chocolate method, and that was also pretty fun, so we'll see how it tastes. Okay, so here it is, and I did taste a little bit of it when I was taking it out, but not really. So here's for the true first taste. It looks good. Look at that. I think it's good. I think it's good, yeah. I think I think I'm a little bit critical, and I'm not sure about the texture, but it's good, yeah. Man, I don't think that's convincing either. I'm not trying to lie, but like I think it's good. But I've tried these, like this is what, the 6th time making this one now, so I'm not sure. But I think it's good. I'm gonna go share it with the people in my dorm. See if they like it. So this is the one I made a couple days ago. This is the one I just made, and it's been like less than 5 minutes, but it's already melting. But hopefully when I freeze it, it might get like, I mean, it'll hold more. I mean, this one's holding up because it's been frozen. This one, the texture is definitely more off, and this one it's a little better, but it's definitely a learning curve. Okay, so the audio was pretty bad here, but what I was saying is that it's definitely a learning curve, and that hopefully I can only get better from here, right? And then I put it in the freezer so that it stops melting, and we're going to check on the texture tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day, and it's been in the refrigerator overnight, and it's pretty hard. It's definitely frozen now, but let's see if it's any better. Okay, so I took a couple bites, and it's pretty great, and you can tell, well, I think the texture is pretty nice now. It might be even too frozen, but I guess the point is it tastes better today, so yay! Accomplishment. Hi, so overall I think it was the best stracciatella that I've made, because I think the texture is the best that it's been, but even then you could tell I still wasn't 100% happy with the texture. But I mean, I think it was also really good taste, and again, I'm learning, so I'm happy with how it turned out. I also want to stress that I am very much not an expert, and I don't really know what I'm doing half the time. But again, that's kind of the point of this channel, is that I'm gonna learn and grow. Um, and also, I plan on probably uploading other things, such as videos on like maybe my life here as a student in Germany, or just other concepts when I feel creative, because honestly, like, I didn't expect to have this much fun editing and recording a video, but it was pretty fun. And of course, it's always fun making gelato, so we'll see what this channel holds and what the future holds. And yeah. Also, I wanted to say about the gelato classes earlier that I totally understand that for a lot of these teachers, that could be a main source, a main part of their career, and that they have a lot of knowledge to impart that I definitely can't just find online. But you know, it's just not in the cards right now for me, so we're gonna figure it out. But yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that, and that I'm also grateful to have this time to make gelato and also to have my little machine. So overall, I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you in another video.